Hey, welcome to the studio of Carini Arts and the prophecy foretold of one who will build a castle out of paint, which is what I did today because I'm just a grown ass man child that got a large shipment of paints, probably equal to my body weight, several boxes, and a good chunk of money. And I thought that I would build a little fort out of my paint for today's talk. So I often get asked what my favorite brand of paint is, and I absolutely love, 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 and could not more highly recommend Nova Color paints. Nova Color professional acrylic artist paints I personally have been using since around 2004 when I was introduced to them. I was lucky to be introduced to them because I was a student at Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles, and Nova Color is factory direct out of Los Angeles. So I was able to go look at the facility where they make the paint, see the behind the scenes, all that, how it goes into making paint. And it's a cool thing to see and to witness. And I strongly recommend it for anybody that has an opportunity to do so. Now, I know that a lot of you out there are probably familiar with brands like Liquitex and Golden, and they're absolutely fantastic brands. But I can say for certain that Nova Color is definitely a comparable brand. And the thing that I love about Nova Color is that I am the type of guy that if I go to a restaurant like Cheesecake Factory and there are a million things on the menu, I will be completely overwhelmed and just randomly pick one thing. And then every time I go thereafter, I will get the same exact thing. Nova Color is not overwhelming in their selection, and I think that that's a great thing with paint is they have enough variety for you to be able to get a full spectrum of colors, but it is not to the point that it is overwhelming. And I find that with Liquitex and Golden, there are so many options that you can choose from, and it's great to have that breadth and that giant repertoire that people can choose from if they want different bodies of paint or accent colors or things of that nature. But I'm a man of simple means that likes a limited number of choices. And so I absolutely love Nova Color, and there's a broad spectrum that you can work with. But as an artist, for the most part, I like to buy my primaries and mix a lot of my secondaries and tertiaries. And then, of course, I'll use a lot of my whites for tinting. You got your blacks for shades. And then you got your specialty colors, your fluorescents, things of that nature. Now, yes, there are absolutely some colors that I will buy, some secondary colors and some tertiary colors, just because, hey, they're hard to mix and that's a badass color, and sometimes I just get excited and want a new color. But Nova Color, absolutely fantastic brand. They have a variety of mediums, gessos, things that you can use as well. So I got my big tub of gesso here. And the other cool thing about Nova Color is because they're factory direct, I find that they're very cost effective in relation to a lot of other brands. So, for example, you could get a little 4 ounce tube or tub of a color, or you can bump up to a 16, or you could bump up to a 32. Now, what happens with Nova Color is as you bump up to a larger size, you save a lot of money. So if you get a 32 ounce, it's generally much more cost effective per ounce than a 16 or a 4. So if you know that you're going to use a lot of a color, you get it in a large size, like this pourable gallon size of titanium white that I got. So I love that they have the pourable option of the gallon for this color because the tubs, those are great, but I like the pourable when possible because as I start to get low on a color, maybe this, say this was titanium white, this starts to get low, I could just pour a good amount of this right back into there. Don't even need a new container, but of course you can just get the extra containers. But such a cool spectrum of colors. We've got gold here, so we've got a pearlescent color. We've got fluorescent orange. And the other thing about Nova Color is they list on all of their colors what the light fastness is. Now, this, for example, is a light fastness level of 3. So it's generally a scale of 1 to 3, 3 being the lowest, meaning that this is actually a lower grade of light fastness than the majority of the colors that you will use. And that's the case of fluorescence. And that means that they are not necessarily archival, that they're going to be more susceptible to UV damage and fading over time. Whereas a level 1 light fastness means that that's a color that's going to last for much longer, be much more archival in its properties, and something much more durable in terms of thinking of the people collecting your work, of what you're making your work for. So say you're doing outdoor murals, there are definitely colors that you're going to want to work with over other colors. Definitely going to work with level 1 light fastness colors. And even within the level 1, there are colors that are known to have better coverage and to just last longer. So that's the other thing. All the colors will list whether they are opaque, translucent, or transparent. So opaque, meaning that it will be a full coverage color. So that's going to be like your whites, things like that. So they will cover over just about anything. So fewer coats, greater coverage in terms of not being able to see what's underneath. Translucent, meaning a little bit of light's going to pass through, and transparent, meaning that a lot of light's going to pass through. And those are generally colors that are great for glazing and cool techniques like that. So let's see what we got here. So in addition to the gold, we got fluorescent magenta. We've got Indian throne blue. We've got super pearl white, which is a beautiful pearl white that I used just this past weekend on a set of paintings as I almost topple my castle over right here. I have got phthalo turquoise. I absolutely love this color. This is like that iconic 80s color. I'm going to enjoy using that in conjunction with the fluorescent magenta and fluorescent pink. Got that fluorescent pink right here. Also got some fluorescent red. I'm obviously in a retro mode lately, and I plan on doing something very fluorescent. Sometimes it's fun to just play with those black light effects, even though I'm aware that because of the light fastness, they are going to be more susceptible to damage over time. Got my phthalo blue deep, iridescent base and glaze. So they have a variety of mediums as well. One of the mediums that I absolutely love from them is called their Novaplex. And I find that to be a great and comparable medium to a pouring medium, something like a Liquitex pouring medium, or what's the medium from Home Depot that a lot of people use for the pour painting techniques? Floetrol. I don't know how you pronounce that. I would love for somebody to clarify how you pronounce what that product is. But I love the Novaplex. Of the different mediums that I've tried, I actually like the Novaplex the best for that purpose. So if you have not tried out Novacolor, strongly recommend that you do. You can check them out at novacolorpaint.com. But I live by them. I've got stacks and stacks. As you can see, I have built my legacy, my castle on these. So I trust them to guard me and build my legacy. So novacolorpaint.com. If you haven't tried them, I hope you have a good day. Stay safe, be well. Feel free to send me your questions, your comments, and join me for all our artist talks right here. See you next time, CariniArts.com.